Warning, the following video contains strong language which may be offensive to some viewers and or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Welcome to Everythin Yet Nothin. Here's a hillbilly in eyeshadow who's looking fabulous and talking about anything yet something. Get ready to chew on a blade of sweet grass and talk about a variety of LGBTQ topics to the lifestyle of a gay hillbilly. Watch out, folks. These hills don't just got eyes. They got themselves a vodcast. Now, here's T-Roy.
Hello, 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 and welcome. This show is going to be so awesome. I have a gentleman here. He's my first guest for the night, Joey Mix.
Hello.
And we are going to be talking about hatred and bullying within the LGBTQ, so on and so forth. And he's here to share some of his story with us. So I hope you enjoy and totally watch this because it's going to be awesome. Totally fabulous. Hello, Joey.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Overall.
That's good.
It could have been a lot worse than it turned out.
Right. So, growing up, was it hard for you to, and you know, when did you show that you were different?
Publicly, it really kind of started to come out right after high school or so. I mean, there were several people, of course, throughout high school that did know, but it was few and far between.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, I'd say probably right after high school.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was different. It wasn't because I was like scared to or anything like that, because everybody I had supported me and didn't have a problem with it. So, I mean, all the people that needed to know knew, but it wasn't like anything I was scared of. And the people that when they did find out, it wasn't a thing. So it was good for me.
Yeah. Heck yeah. That is awesome. Totally. You're lucky.
I'm very aware. Unfortunately, some people don't have such an easy coming out.
That's awesome though.
It took a while for my folks to warm up, but after they did, they came around and they saw that it was genuine. It was a good thing.
Good. So did you get much bullying?
No, not really. I had a couple people here and there that bullied me, but it was super short term. It wasn't anything long term or anything like that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Awesome. And you're from Arkansas, right?
Just outside of Arkansas. I was at the southwest corner of Missouri, like super far. I could have been to Oklahoma or Kansas in a couple, like 30, 40 minutes, and then Arkansas in like 7.
Totally.
So, I mean, I was like right on the border of all of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that is so cool. So, is there anything that you would like to answer or put out there that you would want to tell thousands of people?
I mean, even though that I didn't have it rough, you know, that doesn't mean that you don't, and it will become a thing that you can work with, you can live with, and people are good with it. It's not as deep and dark as it used to be.
Right.
It is becoming much more prominent and relevant as people learn about it and educate themselves on it. That's something that really needs to be known about.
Absolutely. I 100% agree.
People don't understand, like, there's so much more to it than just gay. It's not just that. There's more to it.
There's a lot of labeling now. Like years ago, it wasn't so labeled, and now there's a lot of labels.
Right.
And that's not easy for anybody to accept or, you know, go into something that they was born taught around for like ever kind of thing. So, yeah, hopefully these shows will help open some minds and change some feelings. And
don't ever not be yourself. Like,
no.
Be genuine, guys.
Totally. Be yourself. It's awesome. Like,
it'll make you feel a lot better.
It will, and it makes it a little bit easier to where you can fight just about anything. And,
literally.
And if you need somebody, always turn to someone that you love. Even get a circle of your own to where a group of just awesome friends and that's going to be on call to where you can like call them and let them know, hey, something's not going right, or something like that.
Right.
So, yeah, I think doing stuff like this is going to help a lot of people.
Absolutely.
And
case in point, that friend of mine, whenever we met, they came Taco. I mean, he was scared to death to come and meet my boyfriend and Troy here because he didn't know much about the gay community. He was actually worried we were going to get jumped for a little bit. Hey, he brought a knife.
He jumped somebody. Oh my god!
He brought a knife to our first date.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he was down. He was totally in business right there. And the whole time I was like going down, your man was nervous as shit.
Hey, Chad didn't say a thing.
No, he didn't.
I did all the
probably
talking.
why he took me with him. Because he was so excited and then he was nervous as shit.
Did he talk on the way there?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
He just shut up as soon as
right as you pulled up.
Yeah, pulled up and he's like,
and I mean, Chad, he didn't come out until we met, and he was like 20. Let's see, turned 35, 7 years, so he was like 28 when we met, 27, 28, and that's when he came out to his family, and he just called his folks and was like, "Hey, this is it." I couldn't believe it, and that's what gave me. That really gave me the push and motivation to basically come out a second time and tell my folks, "Hey, I'm with the guy, and that's how it's going to be. And if you don't want to be a part of it, that's your thing."
Totally up to them. Yeah.
They came around to it, and they were fine. They realized I was sincere and that I wanted to be with him.
That's cool. I like that. See, you can change minds, honey.
Yeah,
you can
dude,
change minds.
You wouldn't think it could happen, but it did. My mom and my husband to be is better friends than I am with my mom now. No joke. She showed up at my house yesterday. I didn't even know she was on the way.
I love it. Totally love it.
She lives an hour and 15 minutes away. And she showed up just out of the blue. Chad knew. I didn't.
I remember when he told us he met someone, he just showed us your pic. And he totally did. He was totally excited. That was from Kevin. And Everything Yet Nothin. Hey, everyone. That's to everybody in there. Thank you for being here. Tracy says, hello. Hello, Tracy.
Hey.
And Dominic, hey,
Tracy,
what up, my
it's
brother
been a while.
Dom? Yeah. She watches just about every show.
Oh, this is different.
So if you have any questions or anything that you would like to ask.
Yes, folks. Anybody got any questions?
Joey, then let's go. Tracy, you have anything? How about you, Kevin? So what was your biggest hype coming out as you?
Oh. Well, biggest hype. Like overreaction from somebody?
Well, just, I don't know. Whenever you felt like it was the right thing to do.
Oh, at first, I was right at the end of high school because I was with this guy, and I came out, and a couple weeks later, mom and dad freaked out and wasn't cool with it, and told him off. Actually,
Yeah,
that was probably the biggest issue or problem I had.
Yeah. That's cool.
Did I lose friends coming out? No, not a one, not a single one. I was super, super fortunate. I didn't have a huge circle in high school, and most of the folks that were in my circle knew. I actually had a girlfriend that ended up being transgender and coming on to being a man now. And throughout high school, I had changed from the female to the male perspective, and that was a little different. But I didn't lose any friends. Nope. And for the community I grew up in, to be able to do that was different. Yeah. It was weird. I don't think if it would have happened 5 or 10 years before that, I don't think it would have been nearly as accepting. Totally. Not anywhere close to it. Yeah. No, Tracy, we haven't gotten married yet. Not exactly sure when, where, how.
Yeah, that comes later.
Yeah.
When it hits you.
This April will be 7 years, so I guess I probably should get on that.
7 years, man. It flies by.
It does.
It really does.
I can't believe it. I really can't. My last relationship was like 4 years with a 6-month split in between, and that was something. And now this, and I'm like, I'm not even, no, not nearly as much stress. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
When you meet the right person and you click, it's awesome.
It is. And you'll find it, it's not easy. But
goodness, no. I had to go 5 miles out of my range on the dating app, guys. 5 miles.
That's quite a far distance in Missouri.
When you're driving through the hills, it makes a difference.
In Arkansas. Yeah, totally. Oh, that's funny. I love it. So, siblings?
I got a little brother. He's 3 years younger than me, twice my size. He takes after dad, and I take after my mother.
Yeah.
But he was pretty cool with it coming out. He was probably one of the first that knew, actually. And he was fine with it. He was like, "You're still my brother." I don't think he necessarily supports it, but he doesn't fade. He doesn't show it or anything like that if he does.
Yeah.
That's nice.
That's good. Yeah, that is nice. That is really nice.
Wow, girlfriend was suffering too. Be our flower girl.
No, Tracy. There you go. I can see that, Tracy. I can. You make a pretty flower
Kim.
girl.
How are you doing?
Hello, Kim.
Do you got any questions? How did you feel, Kim? That's Chad's sister, actually, guys. How did you feel when Chad kind of came out?
Share your story.
Well, my coming out story is I decided whenever I was 21 to definitely come out. I tried coming out at 18. It didn't work out.
Ted.
Hey, Ted, my boo. And so whenever I came out, then everybody was like freaking out. Oh my God, you're gay. And so I kind of went back in because at that moment in time, I didn't have the strength I felt to carry on through any drama and all that stuff because I've always been anti-drama and, totally down for people living in love, harmony, peace, and just, as almost one, not hating each other and all that good stuff. So I came out the second time and, of course I was hated, but at that moment in time, I didn't give a shit anymore because I was so ready to come out that I was like, hey, it is what it is. And if you don't like it, if they don't like it, they can turn around and walk the other way because I ain't going nowhere. And my family, LGBTQ, and so on and so forth, you live for you, you be you. Don't you let nobody else keep you from that shit. And if so, you tell them to fly a bird and go fly a kite. Yeah, go fly a kite.
That's one of my favorite sayings.
That's not mine. Because it's worth
fly
it.
A kite, yep.
It really is. It's not easy. It is not easy whatsoever. I was sitting on a couch and I was like, hey, Mom, got something to tell you. And she's like, well, what's that, honey? And I was all like, don't know exactly how to ask this or to tell you this. Not to ask, but to tell you this. And I don't want you to like totally freak out on me or anything like that. And she was like, oh, I won't. You know, what is it? And I said, I'm gay. And she said, you're what? And I said, I'm gay. And, you know, of course, at that moment in time, she wasn't welcoming me. And it took a lot for her to come around because she was born and raised in a time to where homosexuality, any LGBTQ, was not even heard of, talked about, or anything like that. So it wasn't easy for me to come out. And now I think everybody is a little bit easier on coming out, and really come out and be you. Don't hide yourself. Don't lie to people. Like,
you'd be surprised who'll support you.
Yeah, and it's so freeing. So much shit off your shoulders. It's like, I don't give a shit anymore. You know, and you get that going on, and you just live a better life because you start sticking up for yourself and start being you and living life.
It's kind of like the grass is greener on the other side.
And it is. It really is.
Yeah, because it's built on a septic tank.
Tracy Random says, or I can sprinkle fairy dust all over you for you. There you go. I love the fairy dust. And I love being a fairy. And that's my other cousin, and we used to hang out. We hung out a lot. And we still hang out, but we're at a distance. And but when we get together, we throw that fairy dust everywhere because we just, you know, she's been my rainbow through a lot of things growing up and in my lifetime. Hello, little sister Destiny. Love you. Yeah, my little sister says, I got into many fights with people for making fun of you. And she did. Like, she was the very first one that I came out to. And I mean, she's a little spitfire because she's always been scrawny little shit. And she would get up in their face. Don't you be talking to my brother like that, and all kinds of stuff. And she's always been there, and I really appreciate that, sister. I love you forever and always. What?
Kim was happy about it.
Oh, Ted says hello.
That's good, Kim.
Yeah, that is really good. I was very happy about it. I'm glad he can be himself now. And that is Chad's little sister.
Yep.
One boo, by the way. What? Oh no, there's more than one boo. Dominic says, one is the key, my fam. Never give a shit. You're such a great person. Oh, thank you, Brother Dom. Yeah, and he did meet his love of his life, and they fell in love. And whenever that happened, Chad, his fiance, lived with us. So he moved in, and you know, we all lived together. And then we moved down here, and we all lived together. And then we got our own place, and they got their own place, and we kind of grew.
Truth.
I'm like, Tom, I can't talk tonight whatsoever. I've been excited for this show. I was all like, oh my God, I can't wait. It's going to be so awesome. And it is. It's so awesome. Thank you, Joey, for
It's a pleasure, man.
being on and like sharing your story. And
did you get a hold of Brother Phil?
Yes.
Cool. I'm excited for that. I hope.
Yeah, totally.
I hope in a couple of weeks I get to see him on here. So
yeah,
cool.
You will. You will. I'm excited for that. Totally. I've talked to him, and we're going to do a phone interview here soon.
Cool. Let me know how that goes.
Yeah, totally. I might even have you come on it.
Okay.
Just
I could do that.
You know, break the ice or whatever.
Whatever. Yeah, I'll sit right here.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
To talk about how it was going from dating and changing and
yeah. I love
really
that.
well.
Like I love learning about people.
He's one of my best friends. It's awesome. He's awesome.
Yeah, he was really excited. I'm excited to have him. Ted Van Sun says Joey's cute.
Oh well, thank you.
Tracy Brandon says one special boo.
Joey, where are y'all living now? From Tracy. We're over in Rockaway. We're still at 538 over there.
Mm-hmm.
538 or 6. I don't know.
Yeah, you went
They changed the address
Halloween
when
party.
we moved in. Yeah, the place
When
you
we
came
all
for the
lived
Halloween
together.
party. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody. We have a Halloween party every year, and this kick-ass Halloween party. Like, we get everybody invited, and we just hang out. It's usually a potluck.
Yep.
And it's just really cool because we all get along, and we do what we do, and we have fun at it. There is no arguing, no drama, nothing like that, because, you know, I think that's why we've always gotten along.
Right.
Joey and Chad and Kevin. Because we're not drama. You know, we don't even have it around us or live in it or anything, you know, because
Truth.
we realized a long time ago that you got to have that in life. Totally got to have that.
Tracy, did you want to maybe do a Halloween party or something this year?
Ooh, that would be cool. I'm down.
Podcast a Halloween party.
Oh,
family.
That's an idea.
That's an idea.
I have fam that would love to come on that, I bet.
Be an easy way to socialize with everybody still.
I got one of them right here. He's another brother.
Yep.
He's a new brother.
That's right.
Mr. Jason. Totally excited to have you.
Yeah, I'm so
Thank
happy
you,
to be
Teddy,
here.
very much for giving me this opportunity. I really appreciate it. And WLFEDB Radio, you're awesome.
Same
Y'all
here.
rock.
Yeah, still my thunder.
And you really help tremendously because the stories that my people come up with, you know, is true. There is no fakeness to it. There is no bullshit. It's totally straight up. And we're hoping that it helps a lot of other people just change their mind and their feelings on how they feel and life, because it's going to be good. It's going to be better. Definitely 100%. Especially if we all do that, that'd be awesome.
Josh, you need to get a Facebook, man, so you can start watching this. You could learn an awful lot. Kim, tell him.
Oh. Josh, Kim, Chad's little sister, his friend, came on, which is all of our friends that, you know, we was neighbors, and now we're brothers. We all like totally give each other shit all the time. Josh says, I can see you laughing too.
Don't forget, when we get there, we need to find me.
Yes, Tracy, we are so totally down for a Eureka Springs, Arkansas trip. Totally down. As soon as possible. I'll wear a mask all over my body if I have to. You gotta find one of those. Ted says, don't forget, when I get there, we need to find me a man. We will find you a man, boo. We will. Get your ass down here. We can't do it without you. They all like, yeah, this man in New York City is looking for a man.
He's not in New York City.
Oh, he's not?
He's in Ontario? New York? Something like that.
Ontario, New York.
That's some Canadian. Yeah, it's a Canadian province, New York.
Ted is? Yeah. Well,
Ted is far from New York.
it's around New York City.
No, he's 5 hours from New York City.
That's 5 hours from New York City. That's where he lives. That's
Depends
where
on
he's
how
from.
fast you drive.
Wherever you're from, Teddy.
You can cut that down.
You like You
I've
keep
done
that
it
up.
2.5. I've done it 2.5.
Where do you live, Ted? You're right here in front of me. I know you're there.
New York. That's what I mean.
Tracy says, yes, podcast the Halloween party. But before the Halloween party, we got to make a trip, me, Kevin, Big and Tanya. And that's going to be South Carolina. My first wedding doing T-Rod TV. And I'm so excited to be there and doing that. And I can't wait. She's going to be on next month. And you'll like her. She's an artist, one of a kind. So you're going to love it. Where are you? Oh. Okay. Well, it's a part of New York, Ted. That's what I was trying to get at. It's like Bun Freaked Egypt on the other side of New York. And it's called
It's cold.
Avon, New York.
Going to Gettysburg, apparently.
And he says it's nowhere near being New York City. Really, Ted? Really? You're just like my husband. Yes, absolutely. And we get to go to our first Comic-Con, I guess, gathering, and it's going to be with all of my family within the WLFEDB radio network station. And we get to meet everybody in person, and it's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
When will that be?
It will be.
I'll need to make some arrangements.
You remember?
Okay.
Talk about it later. So yeah, that I'm really excited for that. Let's go to the commercial. Stay tuned.
"2021 just got better. Your favorite shows from WLFE DB Radio can now be found on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Yes, we now video stream to both of those platforms. Search for your favorite shows like Where's My Sage, Inside the Drag Closet, Across the Pond, Everythin Yet Nothin, Paratalk Radio, Step into the Paranormal, The Creepy Parlor, Just Cindy, and more. Now you won't miss an episode. Remember, follow Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Make sure you subscribe and follow your favorite WLFE-DB radio shows. This award-winning thriller has it all. Murder, political intrigue, mob revenge, and a bit of romance. Not to mention strong female and male characters with a storyline that could be tomorrow's headline news. Now for a quick peek into our story. To help solving a nationwide plot involving the assassination of several U.S. senators, the O'Rourke team is called in. To complicate matters, they now have to work against the clock to rescue one of their own. You see, the mob didn't take too kindly to the O'Rourke team's involvement last spring. It seems to have led to the indictment of their boss. Will they succeed? You're listening to WLFE DB Radio. Now, back to our program.
Hello. Welcome back. I'm your host, T-Roy. Here to give you all a kick-ass show. Tonight we got like some family LGBTQ men that would like to come on and tell their story. And here's one of them, JoJo.
Hello.
And
hello.
Joey had to run. He had to go home. He's got to work in the morning. And We're going to be talking about his story later. This is my co-host for the night, and we will be talking and speaking with Jeffrey Henry.
Yes.
And he is right here. Hello, Mr. Jeffrey Henry.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Hi, Jojo.
Hi. It's nice to see your face. It's been a little while.
Yeah, I know. That's nice to see you guys too.
So, what would you like to talk about tonight?
Um, okay. Uh, Basically, anything that you are open to talk about. I really don't have anything to hide or am afraid of talking about. And I know for me, I have. I mean, I've grew up in this area all my life. um, Especially in this area, right here in right around Branson. And I officially came out when I was in my uh, 30s. I'm giving away my age. I'm just going to leave it at that. And a lady never reveals their age. And so,
Exactly,
yeah.
totally.
But anyway, like I said, it was in about 2005 when I actually officially came out to my mom and my brother, and my dad had already passed. And I had told a few friends before then, but that was when it officially, um, when I officially came out. Um, my brother was a lot more accepting than my mom. Uh, my mom was um, completely different. She was um, very upset. There were some few choice words said that kind of surprised me because I knew she wouldn't like it, but I figured that she would have a little bit better time than maybe my brother. But because my brother, he was married and he had three small kids, and my niece and my nephews, I treated them just like my kids. And they was, like I said, little. They was all under the age of 8. And I was afraid that, when I told them, my brother would not let me be around the kids. That was not even an issue. Um, Actually, my brother was standing up and defending me to my mom when she made some very negative and hateful or negative comments. I'm not going to say hateful, but she just didn't like it. It was a shock. My family had talked about it. You know, other family members had talked about me, but never said anything to my face. But um, but in 2005, when I actually sit down and told her, that was when I really got to the point where depression was really hitting me very hard. That was also the time that I went to my first St. Louis Gay Pride Festival. And I was a paramedic at the time, and I went up there to volunteer um, to help out in the first aid station there. And being from this area and then going up there to St. Louis and being around all those folks at St. Louis Pride, um, as the old saying goes, I was like, I'm not in Kansas anymore, you know. So it was a very eye opening experience. Met some amazing people, um, you know, and I still have made some, still keep in contact with uh, people that I met up there. But after I came home from St. Louis Pride, then that's when things really started. I'm going to say the emotions really started flooding, coming to the surface, and I was just like, love is love. If people don't like me for who I am, then screw it. I don't have to have you in my life. And, but my mom, like I said, it was rough for the first few weeks, but, it took a while. We didn't talk for literally 2 weeks. And, my brother, like I said, there was no problem with that. And he's younger than me. But, you know, I did have some people that knew about me beforehand. But as far as family, I officially told them in 2005. Um, you know, I had, um, I had been through issues in the past, with depression, and I always knew that I was different. Um, I guess people say, "Well, when did you first know?" Sixth grade, uh, and because I had a crush on a boy in sixth grade. I'm just going to leave it at that. Um, and but I, but 2005, after going to my first St. Louis Pride Fest, that's when things really went off for me. You know, seeing all the love and energy at St. Louis Pride, seeing couples, same gender couples with kids, and seeing all the families and everything. And it just really opened up your eyes when you've never been around it, never experienced it. Um, and after I came home, I just felt so. It just got to the point where I could not hide or deny any feelings that I had. I was having a hard time sleeping. I was crying, being very emotional all the time. And I just made the decision. I said, I have got to get this off my chest. You know, if they want to be a part of my life, hey, so be it. I love them. But if they don't, sayonara. And like I said, my mom, it took a while. It took a couple of months, and then things started getting better. Um, I met one person up there at St. Louis Pride that's T-Roy, you're muted. Did you know that? And but yeah, I can hear you now.
All right.
But anyway, but no, up there at St. Louis, I had met one um, guy that we'd actually met beforehand. Um, but he was from this area, and we just hit it off as really, really good friends. There was nothing more than that. And but anyway,
That's
um,
awesome.
we went up there, and we both volunteered and everything. And after we came back home, um, we still remain good friends. He was a first responder on the fire department. I was too. Worked on the ambulance in this area, and he would come and do ride-alongs with us on the ambulance, and because he wanted to become a paramedic.
Oh,
And
cool.
but I found out that he had been he was not accepted by his mother. His dad was out of the picture, and he did have a brother that there's only like a year and a half difference in their ages. And
Yeah.
his brother was um, a redneck country kid, did not like gay people.
Oh boy, yeah.
And his brother loved him for him, but his brother didn't love his lifestyle.
Right.
And anyway, um, after the brother got around me, for some unknown reason, the brother started liking me, as a person,
Yeah.
and kind of opened up his eyes, and
Yeah, that's
you know,
awesome.
and but anyway, that all worked out as a positive note. But um, my friend, I had found out that he had been bullied pretty extensively. He'd even been abused, um, and like I said, neglected by his mom.
Mm,
And there was um, some issues that went on just shortly during that time period in the 2005, 2000 or 2006 time frame.
mm,
And and I was there to support him as much as I can and kind of be his rock. And at that, I mean, you can only do so much.
yeah.
But I did everything I could for him, to be there for him and support him, and others did too. But
Hmm.
when you get in this depression state after
Yeah.
being bullied and abused,
Yeah.
it's
It takes a
it's
lot.
it does. It takes a lot. It's very harmful. You don't know
Yeah.
how to control your emotions, and that's what that happened. And there was for about 8 months that I had lost contact with him, and his brother couldn't even find him. Well, I found out later that um, you know, months later, um, that anyway, he had been hospitalized twice for suicide attempt. And, you know, but when he called me, my friend, do you want me to say his name, his first name? Because I
Yeah.
can.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
Anyway, Eddie, he called me. I hadn't heard from him for 6 months easily, between 6 and 8 months. And I had tried calling him multiple times, contacting everybody that I knew. His brother didn't even know. I was calling around sheriff's office, county morgues, hospital, you name it,
Yeah.
in the area where he was at. And of course, nobody would tell me anything.
Right.
And same thing with his own brother. And then one day in November, he called me. I want to say it was November 7th or something like 17th. Anyway, he called me out of the blue, and I hadn't heard him, like I said, between 6 and 8 months. I was absolutely ecstatic, And of course, that's when he told me that he had been very suicidal, attempted it twice. A cop pulled
Yeah.
him off of a bridge over an overpass because he was
Oh,
going to jump off for that. And because he just did not know how to control
right. Yeah.
his emotions.
Yeah.
And anyway, um, where he was 3 hours away, and I had went up there a couple of different times within a month to spend time with him, and it just made our friendship even grow stronger. And he wanted there to be more between me and him, and I loved him so much, but I loved him as a brother. I didn't love him romantically,
Right.
and you know, but there was he did have a partner, a boyfriend. Then they hadn't been together very long, but he had been cheating on him and stuff like
Oh
that.
my God.
So
It's
there was
horrible.
that negative thing, and he would give the shirt off his back to help someone out, and he would turn around and he would get the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
And um, but I had went up to go spend some time with him a couple of different times, and then the Christmas week of 2006, he had came down, and we spent some time together. And my mom and him, we kind of had a little blow up, and him and my mom, they got into a fight about something. I don't know what it was, and I confronted him, and I said, "Okay, sit down." You know, here
That's
he is six. Here he is 6'3", and I'm talking to him. You know, and he's younger than me, but I'm talking to him like he's a little kid. I'm talking to my mom like she's a kid. I said, "You both sit down, and shut up." And I said, "We're going to
you
have
know
us a
that.
I said, "We're going to have us a family meeting." And you know, but he was telling mom, you know, what all I did to help him out and been there and everything. And he put me up on this pedestal, and still bothers me why he did that. But after an hour of talking, I mean, he was crying, my mom was crying. You know, by the time it's all said and done, we're all sitting there hugging on each other and everything.
Yeah.
And my mom, she really got to where it really opened up her eyes. Eddie opened
Oh,
up my
good.
mom's eyes big time.
That's awesome.
And then, you know, and she had even went and got him a Christmas gift and everything, which kind of surprising she did that, but I was happy. But anyway, I ended up taking him back home, and I told him, I said, "Now, Eddie," I said, "in a couple of days," I said, "we're going to be going on a getaway for a couple of days, going to Memphis." And but I said, "You're just going to have to be on for a couple of days," and he said, "Okay." And I said, "Just keep in contact to me," you know, but of course I had to go work.
Right.
But anyway, every day we talked and stuff like that, you know. And he's not one to. He's one to where he would let anybody into his heart, and no matter how they would hurt you. And
Right.
he was too trusting, I should say.
Yeah.
And but anyway, um, I found out he had gotten abused one more time. He had actually got sexually assaulted once more, and someone took advantage of him. And but anyway, on
That's
um,
horrible.
on this Thursday night, December 28th, we talked about 7:10 at night, and he's like, "Jeff," he said, "I can't stay here no longer." And I said, "I will be there first thing in the morning." I said, "I get off work," and I said, "I'll be on my way up," and I said, "I'll be there." And I said, "Just stay home." And he said, "Goes okay, okay." And then the next morning at 3:30 in the morning on it was on a Friday, December 29th, 2006. I get a phone call from his roommates. They came home and they found him hanging in the stairwell right in the front door.
Oh my God.
And
Yes.
you know, he was 23 years old. Beautiful soul, beautiful person, inside and
Right.
out.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I'm tearing up now, and this is the first time I've teared up in years. Um, you know, it took me. Um, I mean, it's a 3-hour drive, and I made it in two. And you know, and but I was up there all day long. Um, you know, I'm the one that contacted his family,
Mhm.
and he had a
Oh,
brother and sister, and his mom. His mom, she was saying, you know, what all she was going to do, and you know, he was going to
yeah.
be. And I said, "No," I said, "You cut him out." I said, "You don't have a say so." I said, "I didn't even have to call you," but I said I did.
Right.
I said, and you know, the brother came in from out of state, and the sister, she was going to try to come in, and I knew that he was going to be cremated.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just a really bad situation, and you know, at the time, and they said they're going to do an autopsy, and I told them, I said, "I want to tell you right now, this was the medical examiner's office." I said, "I'm going to tell you right now." I said, "You're not cutting on that boy." I said, "You're not cutting on him unless I'm there." I
Yeah.
said, "His family's not here," and I said, "I'm the closest thing to family."
Yeah.
And then when I was telling the investigator and the medical examiner about, you know, everything he'd been through, and the medical examiner, after talking to her for almost 30 minutes on the phone, she told me on the phone, she was crying. She
Yeah.
said, "There's no need." She said, "We are not doing an autopsy." And
Yeah.
anyway, and I'm going through all of his stuff, and he wrote poems, and he had wrote a poem about me being there for him, me being there, being his rock. And I
Yeah.
still have that poem. In fact, there's one
Awesome.
spot down at the bottom of the poem that is smeared because when I cried, it smeared the ink.
Right.
But I still have that poem. And but anyway, when his brother came in and his mom, they did come out. Um, of course, the mom. I mean, yeah, she said she lost her son, but the brother who was accepting of me and accepting of him now.
Awesome.
After we was at the funeral home, I told his brother, I said, I need to see him. I said, I need to see Eddie. I said, I have not cried, not once. I
Yeah.
said, I need to see him. And, and his brother told me, he said that I would be the only one allowed to see him. And I did. And they had just cleaned him up and everything. And I mean, he just looked like he was asleep. But, losing someone by natural cause of a heart attack or car accident or something like that, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But losing someone by suicide,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you do not get no answers.
Nope.
When they don't really specify in a letter or note, you
Yeah.
really
Right.
don't get no answers.
No answers.
And I did not cry until I seen him. And when I did, my legs locked up and I could not move. And I cried harder then than I did at my dad's funeral.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it leaves so many unanswered questions that you will never get answers to.
Right.
And and his brother literally, carried me out. I was a big guy, not like I am now, but I was smaller, but I was still pretty good size. But he literally carried me out at the funeral home. And that was so hard. And like I said, after that, it was 2 years before I could talk about Eddie without breaking down.
Yeah.
Um, but after him passing and stuff, um, it was a couple months later. His mom actually called me just out of the blue, and you know, and we had a very long talk. I mean, we talked for a couple hours, and she was telling me things, that she regretted.
Yeah.
She regretted that she rejected him,
Yeah.
and and I told her, I said, you had a wonderful son that wanted his mother's love, and I said, and you turned
That's
your
right.
back on him, and I said, you rejected him,
Yep.
and and of course, unfortunately, now she has to live with that. But like I said, she called me just out of the blue, and but like I said, we had a very long talk, um, you know, and unfortunately, she's going to have to live with that for the rest of her life.
She will.
And knowing that there was the last few years of his life that she could have known a loving, beautiful young man, and she threw that all away.
Yeah.
When he was going through trials and tribulations and being
Yeah.
abused, bullied, bullied to the absolute maximum. Um, she could have been there for him, and she gave it all up. She didn't want nothing to
Yeah.
do it until after it was all too late.
And it's really
You
kind
know,
of sad because there are parents out there that are like they do that to teenagers or younger than a teenager. Just turn them
yeah,
away and shun them, and you know, put them.
and and she did. But like I said, by that point in time, the damage was already done.
Yeah.
So, of course, unfortunately, that's going to be something she's going to have to live with.
Yeah.
And one of the things I want to talk about was, about that because, losing someone to by suicide, especially, in any situation, is horrible. But, because if you're gay, you know, I
Yeah.
don't really like I don't really like the abbreviations LGBTQ. I don't like that. That's just me. You're gay, you're gay. Doesn't matter which side of the
Yeah.
which side of the stick it's on, but you're still gay. Um, I'm an old redneck, so I'm going to call it as I see it. If you don't like it, piss on it. And but like I said, losing someone by suicide that is gay, um, it's different. And like I said, you don't get no answers. You don't
Right.
get closure.
Yeah.
And because you would like to know what is going on in their mind before that bullet or that rope or
Yeah. Yep.
that bottle of pills or whatever.
Yeah.
And when somebody is saying that they're depressed,
Yeah.
then listen to them. Even if they said it 50 times,
Yep.
listen to them. Because it could be that one time, they've said something or they gave that hint.
Yeah.
But you just didn't pay that close attention to it.
Right.
And I've always said, I have an open door.
Yeah.
If you have if you don't feel safe or you don't feel comfortable talking to someone, come to me.
Yes.
I have been hurt before in the past, not because of my lifestyle. I've, knock on wood, I haven't had no negativity towards me that I'm aware of.
Oh, lucky you.
And because I'll call them out,
Right.
and because I can guarantee you, you've got worse secrets than I've got in your bedroom. And
right. Yeah.
yeah, and some of them I've got proof on. But anyway,
Ooh.
so yeah, that's a totally different show. We'll just leave that one at that. And but like I said, but I have an open door policy that if you need someone to talk to, need a shoulder to cry on, need someone to vent at, let me know. And and I've had people, in all different situations,
Yes.
come to me. And I've had cousins that, and I come from a big family.
Yeah.
And so, but I've had family members that, have came to me and told me that, one thing, whether or not they was bi or something like that.
Right.
And I said, okay, so what's,
Yeah. Right. Mr.
I said,
Jeffrey, we got to take a short commercial.
go for it.
I will be right back with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Paratalk Radio is a member of radio.com. Download the app, search Paratalk Radio. One word. That's it. Pretty easy peasy. Radio.com.
WLFE DB Radio is on Spotify with all its great shows like Across the Pond, Inside the Drag Closet, Step into the Paranormal, Just Cindy, Where's My Sage, Unfiltered Talks with Bryce, Metal Mayhem ROC, Paratalk Radio, Real Talk with Dom, and more. So download the Spotify app today to stay connected to all your WLFE DB Radio shows.
You've been listening to WLFE-DB.com. where our shows are your shows.
Hey guys and dolls, this is Casey DeVille, the better half of DeVille Inc., Baltimore, Maryland. If you're ever in Baltimore, stop in and see me and Tony. Invisible Bree, 5920 Eastern Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21224. Give us a call if you're in the area at 410-400-9641, or look us up on the web at DeVilleInc.com. DeVille Inc., where we specialize in you.
You're listening to WLFE DB Radio. Now, back to our program.
Hello and welcome back. We have Mr. Jeffrey here, and we are talking about some ups and some downs of being in the community of LGBTQ and so on and so forth. And we're letting him tell his story and his life of his ups and downs. And we left off with you mentioned that you have an open door policy.
Yes. And like I said, having an open door policy, if somebody needs to talk, if they have any questions with anything or need help with anything, I'll help in any way I can.
Yeah.
I don't have much, but what I have, I'll help.
That is awesome. We're the same way.
I will not be taken advantage of. I have been taken advantage of in the past, and that will not happen.
Yep.
Nothing really scares me anymore. I've been put through hell and back, and I came back, and I've come out on the other side. So,
heck yeah, awesome.
But when you're, especially, alternative lifestyle, I should say, you're going to go through trials and tribulations, and it will make you stronger.
Yes, it will. Absolutely.
And whether or not if you realize it or not, it will.
It will.
And since I am older, I'm not giving my age, but
well, honey, you don't look no older.
Oh, trust me, I feel it. And I'll just say that. But anyway, I have, like I said, having an open door policy. I grew up, like I said, in this area. I went to a small country church, Baptist, but I was also thrown in a little bit of Pentecostal. So for years, I called myself Baptist Costal. And and the church that I went to, like I said, I went there from the age of 10 till I was like almost 25. And, the preacher that we had at the time when I left, he made some comments one Sunday. And there'd been some talk beforehand, but he made some comments one Sunday. How many of you believe that God's punishment to gays is AIDS? And this is back in 94. And when he said that, I'm sitting there in church and I'm thinking, I just cannot believe that he said that. And I was very active in the church, in our small church, and I was very active in our youth. For a small church, we had a kicking youth group.
Yeah.
Because we done stuff all the time.
Oh yeah.
And it took me 2 weeks to go back to church, and because I had a hard time, I just could not believe this was my home.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I put this preacher on a pedestal. That was my fault. But when I went back to church 2 weeks later, I was having massive headaches, not feeling, and I was talking to a friend of mine who was very open, and she was pushing me to come out at the time because at that time I was not out at it. And you know, you had to have been blind and deaf and hidden under a rock to not figure out that I wasn't. And but anyways, you know, my friend Trudy at the time, she was like, Jeff, she said, you've got to quit the church. And I said, it's just not that easy. I said, this church I grew up in.
Yeah.
And so anyway, we had went to church one Sunday, and after church was over with, he was at the back, you know, at the door, you know, greeting people when they was leaving. And I just, after everybody was out in the front yard of the church, I pulled the door shut and I locked the door. And I confronted him. And there was 3 questions I specifically asked him. 2 of them, I can't remember what they was right off the top of my head. But one of them was, are you prejudiced? Was it prejudice? I said. And anyway, he says, no, I'm not. And I might have said the wrong word. But anyway, and he was like, he said, no, I'm not. Anyway, the 3 questions that I asked him, I knew two of them was complete lies. And I mean, he told 2 complete lies to my face right there in the church, standing inside the church. A couple of months later, an aunt of mine had passed away, and he was at the funeral, and he sat there, and not prejudiced. But anyway, he's one of the things he said was, he said, Jeff, he said, I need to talk to you for a minute. And I said, okay. As much as I didn't like him, I was still going to be civil with him.
Yeah.
And
be the bigger person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And unfortunately, at that time, I was a bigger person. And but anyway, he told me, he said, you know, when I confronted him about a couple of questions, a couple months prior, one of the questions was, I asked him if he was not prejudiced, but anyway, he got to thinking about it. One of the questions, and he said, "Yeah." He said, "I'm just having a complete brain fart." When you get my age,
don't you love that I have brain farts all the time? Thank God they're not the right ones.
Oh, God, I know it. But anyway, he admitted to me that one of the questions that I asked him, anyway, that he did not tell the truth. And I told him, I said, well, I said, unfortunately, I said, I'm not coming back to the church. And I said, if people want to know the reason why I'm not coming back, I told him, I said, you can tell them the reason why I'm not coming back.
Exactly.
And, you know, and of course, there were several people asked me when they seen me out and about, they asked me, you know, why did I leave the church? And I said, that's a question you need to ask the pastor.
Yeah.
And after I left, it didn't take long. The church went downhill. I mean, the doors are almost closed.
Oh, wow.
Because I told them, I said, if I stay, I said, trust me, I said, it's going to be a tornado come through this church.
Right.
And, you know, I mean,
did you find a good church?
Yes, I did. Now, it took me many years. But yes, I did. Through those years, I mean, for 25, 30 years, I didn't feel comfortable going into a church.
Yeah.
And back in 2018, God, it's kind of hard to believe it's that long ago. But anyway, 2018, a friend of mine had talked to some other folks, and they wanted to put together a group called a diversity group here in Branson.
Mm-hmm.
And we decided that we was going to have it there at the Shepherd of the Hills Episcopal Church. And because there was 2 different gay couples that went there. And the church was letting us use their fellowship hall. And So we started doing get-togethers once a month, just kind of like having potlucks and having themes. And
Yeah,
we'd have game nights.
absolutely.
JoJo knew all about that. And so we had. Oh, by the way, he makes an awesome Halloween punch. And
Mhm.
do you remember that?
I do.
Okay. God, it was good. But anyway, um, b- and but anyway, we started having get-togethers there, and at the church's fellowship hall. But the priest in charge, Father Ross, he's the one that actually suggested the get-togethers.
Oh, awesome.
And
Yeah.
and Father Ross, you know, I never lost my faith, but he restored my trust in pastor, chaplain,
Yeah.
priest, whatever you
Awesome.
wanted to call
That's fabulous.
him. And that church, it is so welcoming. They don't see color, they don't see gender.
Awesome.
They see love.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
And we had some amazing times there. And the church is still welcoming. You know, and then late last year, I became an official member of the church there.
Cool.
Just because we was having our gatherings there doesn't mean that we want you to come and be a member of the church.
Right.
But we want people to know that it is a welcoming church.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
because we don't have a large congregation.
Yeah.
Episcopal religion, faith, it's different than what I was raised. I'm like, okay, I'm not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy. And because, like I said, it is different, but, anytime you want to learn something new, it's going to
Yeah.
be challenging. But,
Right.
like I
Yeah.
said, it is a loving church. So if you've ever had an issue with churches and being LGBTQ
Yeah.
and you don't feel comfortable going to a church, yes, we would love you to come and check us out. You're going to get the message, but you're also going to walk out of there feeling loved. You're not going to walk out of there being condemned to hellfire and brimstone because of your lifestyle.
Thank goodness for
And,
that.
And I mean, because I was crying when
Yeah.
I was telling Father Ross about my situation. I said, I want to go to church, but I said, I don't feel comfortable.
Right.
I said, I was hurt in such racist. That's what it was.
Yeah.
That the preacher, uh, that I grew up in, I was saying he was racist, and he said he's not. That's kind of like a woman being a little bit pregnant. Either you are or you're not.
Right. One of the audience members says homophobic, and she also said because he passed judgment, so therefore he was judged. And a pastor is to save and bring in God's love and light. No, not to pass judgment.
That's right.
Yes. Well, and the thing about it was this pastor, he was preaching his beliefs. He was not preaching what the Bible said.
Yes.
He was preaching his beliefs.
Right.
And that's what that's what I confronted him about. And I told him, I said, when I decided that I was going to leave the church, and I said, and if I ever hear you make another comment that does not, about your message not coming out of the Bible, but you're preaching your beliefs, I said, I will go to the pastoral board. And I said, because you have a license, and I said, I will make sure that you will never have a license again. And, so, I mean, and needless to say, I put the fear of the devil in him. And he did not stay at the church very long after that. He's been to a couple of different churches. He's been married, divorced, married. But he also knew that I had my eyes and ears out there, and you know, we've seen each other a couple times since then,
Yeah.
and I'm civil with him.
Good. That's
You know,
awesome.
but like I said,
Totally.
the Branson Diversity Group, like I said, we used to get together once a month, and yeah, it was usually either the first Thursday or Friday of each month. And but last year, because of COVID, we wasn't able to get around that much. We did have a couple of get-togethers, and but we are going to start doing more get-togethers, hopefully this year.
Yeah, totally.
So,
Well, there isn't much time left, so I will ask you my last question, and that question will be, um, I would like for you to tell the one that you are with that you have given yourself to heart so exactly what he means to you.
okay. My boyfriend, his name is Zach. We've known each other for several years. We was friends for several years before we um, officially became a couple. And we've been through some highs and lows. I think we've been through more lows than we've been through highs.
Yeah.
But we, it's really hard to explain our relationship because we was friends for so long before there was it progressed. And but he thinks he looks out for my better interest. I'm more of the, you know, I want this, the romantic Cinderella fairy
Yeah.
tale.
Yeah.
And he's not that kind of person. He wants to think more long term and everything.
Yeah.
But we, I do care for him an awful lot. And he does care for me an awful lot. There's times I wish that he would show up more than what he does, but I know deep down he does.
Yes.
And, you know, we've got our long range goals that we're working on.
Awesome.
We're
Awesome.
hoping to have a house within a year.
Cool. That's
And
pretty awesome.
so but yeah, he's the one person that, outside of family, he's the one person that I do think of every day when I first wake up and when I the last thing I think about when I go to bed. And um, I do love him an awful lot. He does love me, even though he doesn't show it like I would like for him to. But not everyone's
Some of
perfect.
them don't.
And but nothing that a cast iron skillet won't fix either.
That's
And
right.
you know,
Keep them
yeah.
lined out.
Oh yeah. The bigger the skillet, the more sense it'll make.
Yeah, there you
And
go.
but like I said, um, he's been there for me in a lot of ways, and I've been there for him. And like I said, some relationships, are picture perfect, fairy tales. Some of them's not. But like I said, he cares for me, and I care for him, and I couldn't see myself around anybody else. I've tried, you know, to thought that I would like someone else, but I always kept becoming, thinking of him, and
Yeah.
that's the same way. And but you know, we do love each other. Um, he has his way of showing it, and I have my way of showing it. And I guess that's the reason why we've known each other and been around each other for 17 years.
That's beautiful. Like, really. It's very beautiful. And I am so proud of both of you. And I'm so honored to meet somebody that has lasted that long. Because with me and my husband, we've been together for 15 years, and I haven't found anybody that has lasted as long as you two have. And
Like
that's
I
something
said,
to be proud of.
I mean, like I said, we was friends for many years before
Yeah,
it progressed more.
that's awesome.
And but
That's
anyway,
awesome.
like I said, that's how that
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. Well, awesome. We appreciate you being on with us tonight, and
You're very welcome.
I look forward to doing more shows and having you on more shows in the future.
You're
So,
welcome.
you have a blessed night. Thank you
You
very much,
too. You
Jeff.
Bye.
too. Bye, Jojo.
And it's me and JoJo, my
Yay! Hi.
co-host. Hello, JoJo. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good.
You look fabulous, like always.
Well, thank you. Gotta break out Brittany.
Oh yeah, bring out
Save Brittany, by the way. Hashtag save Brittany.
Totally. So, you do a lot around the community, around Branson. Tell me about that.
So right now things have kind of slowed down a little bit. I do work for the Boys and Girls Club here in this area. And before COVID, there was a lot more community stuff that we did. Whereas COVID has kind of slowed it down a little bit.
Yes.
We're not seeing as many kids as we would like to.
Right.
But we have to do what's safe for them. And that means as far as community involvement, it's not as high as it was.
Yeah.
I've been there 3 years. It'll be 3 years in July. And we have done fundraisers in the community. Every year we do Blues Brews and barbecue at the landing. Raise a lot of money for the kids. And then last year we didn't do it obviously because of COVID. But also there's Branson Con, which is kind of like Comic-Con, but it's on like a Branson level.
Yeah.
And for that, it was a really neat thing because I used to work for a company called Branson After Hours.
Yeah.
So it was neat to work for Branson After Hours, who essentially that company that owned us, we put on Branson Con.
Yeah.
So it was neat to be like the liaison between Boys and Girls Club and
that would have been
Branson
a
Con.
blast.
So
yeah, totally. I love that. Totally. Well, we are near the end of the show, so I will say for my last word, be kind to each other. You don't ever know what other people are going through, and you don't always know if you're going to be the one pushing them over the edge to make them do something that no child, man, woman on this earth should never have to go through. I think it's very sad. There are children every day that are committing suicide. There are men every day committing suicide because of hatred and being shunned and being looked down upon. So really look into yourself before you open your mouth, because you never know, you might be the murderer that is going to cause the death that shouldn't be caused in the first place. Don't lie to anybody. Don't treat anybody like shit. Be truthful, be upfront, be yourself, and, just leave everybody else alone. If you have a problem with them, turn around and walk away, because it's really not worth it. Everybody deserves to live. And so, turn around, walk away, change your mind, change your thoughts, because change is life. We must change this life and make it a better life than what it has been. We have done a great job. Everybody that is behind us has done a wonderful job on changing the community and, really making things easier to come out and be yourselves. And, I appreciate that from everybody that has a hand in that. And love each other, love one another. look out for the young ones. There are ways talking to the younger ones, and when you talk to those younger ones, you can show non-hate, you can show acceptance, and understanding comes way later. But you can start children out on not being judgmental towards each other, and just being themselves. They don't even think about that stuff. I don't believe. I have never ever seen a child just not like another child.
Right.
I really don't. And so I think they're pure, and they get the unpure from everybody here that's older than them and that are around them and everything. So, again, be careful what you say. Be careful how you treat somebody, because that could be the end of their life, and they deserve to live. Hello, Erica.
Hello, Erica.
Hello, Joe. Hello, Bo. Thank you, Tracy, for all your comments and all that. You did wonderful tonight. See, there was something else on here. Tracy Branham says, Jeffrey, thank you for sharing your journey with us. You are a strong and beautiful rainbow.
Yes.
And he is backstage, and he appreciates that. Peace and love. That's the gay way. And there is no other way to do it but the gay way, baby. Next week we have the L in the LGBTQ community. And I can't wait to meet them. There's some beautiful ladies that are going to be on here, and it's going to be awesome. So stay tuned for that next Thursday, 9 o'clock, WLFE DB Radio or Everything Yet Nothing page. Everything Nothing page. Yeah. So have a good night.
Thank you for joining T. Roy and a special guest here on Everythin Yet Nothin. Tune in next Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central for another episode you won't want to miss. Until next time, be a rainbow in someone's life.
Like and follow us on Facebook at WLFE DB Radio.
Somebody that you might have maybe